I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first item is the approval of the agenda.
I'm gonna make a couple comments here, David.
Okay,
Given the fact the entire council is here, I got a question for Chris. Is there anything else on the agenda that needs to be addressed tonight?
I think that Tara really needs to talk
Okay.
tonight because that has to be finalized. Minutes and everything can wait. Additionals can wait. And then as far as at the end of the meeting, I do need to announce that I would like to request us to reschedule the meeting in October, possibly do it the week prior, October 19th, because Kelly and I will both be out, be at that conference and not be here the 26th. But other than that, I think just Tara, am I correct, Tara? Yours has to be spoke of today because it can't wait till the end of October.
Okay, all other things being equal, after the public comments are done, I'm gonna make a motion that we table the rest of the minutes and the agenda. And the fact that we are all here and real close, we move in and finish the budget for 2024.
I second that.
any discussion?
I don't have any of my stuff.
I don't
We have
either.
that
His
planned for
motion.
October 3rd, so I didn't do anything for that.
It says conduct our meeting.
We got two main things to address, that's PSAP and the radio fund.
There's a lot more to address, actually.
Yeah, there are.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No,
No,
No?
no.
How many noes we have?
Passes 4-3.
Yeah, you're gonna be here for a long time.
Not necessarily.
That's,
this is unusual.
yeah, that's,
I never,
I don't have any of my
Am I-
information, and I don't know what kind of trick this is or game that
Chris,
you're
Chris has the
conjured
information.
up here, but this
No,
is
she doesn't.
inappropriate.
There's an updated copy of
No.
all
This
of your
is
budget.
completely
we
inappropriate.
have budget sessions. This is not at a public meeting. We do not conduct a
This is
budget session at a
inappropriate.
public meeting.
Absolutely.
We have
That
never
is
done this.
ridiculous. We're
It
talking
can't
about
be
millions
done.
of dollars.
Why not?
You might be prepared because you had this plan, but I'm not. I don't have any information with me. I didn't bring anything, Paul. How can you expect me to talk about something we have scheduled for a different date that you brought in and expect everybody to have everything right here, right now? That's,
I didn't,
not
I
appropriate.
did not hear, I'd like to have a hand count. Who said yes? Hand count. Who said no? Please.
All those who said yes, raise your right hand. Okay. Unbelievable.
that's more than unbelievable. That is, we are talking about millions of dollars in our county budget, and to do it appropriately, you do not slide it in on a motion to cancel this entire agenda
We just
for a
had
conjured up
budget-
plan in the
a
background,
work
and that's
session. You
exactly
attended
what
work
it is.
sessions at a AIC conference, and they clearly stated what we needed to do, and we're doing just the opposite of what they asked us to do. Do you not recall that?
Who's had time to review that? I got that today,
Rod?
this afternoon, while I was working.
You're free to do, you're free to conduct yourself any way you see fit.
I will not be participating in
What's
that.
that, Rod?
I believe that, you have the power to do, procedural matter, really.
Did you just get this today at like 2 hours ago? Who's had time? I was at work. Who's had time to review that 2 hours ago and be ready for this
You
meeting?
can't spring that on.
That is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous.
I do want to say at the end of the Thursday meeting at 6 o'clock, it was said that I would bring the position we were at the end of that meeting regarding the levy funds, because I could not present that information at that time. I brought that information to the meeting tonight, along with the information that you requested on Monday. My office has worked to present these numbers to you. I did bring them tonight because I did.
Not on the agenda?
And it's on the agenda, and I know I was questioned why it was on the agenda,
We,
but at the end of the Thursday meeting, it was stated that I was supposed to bring you guys where you were regarding the max levy and the budget to the 28th meeting. Am I correct?
and
You
the-
put it on the.
and the original
agenda.
plan
I didn't
was-
put it on the agenda.
The president of the council.
I was
One
asked
the
if this
agenda.
was going to be on the agenda, and I said no.
Okay, I sent this agenda to you all on Thursday the way it's always been is that I send you guys the agenda. If there's any additionals or anything that needs to be done, you sent them. Now, if you want to change the way you're doing things, that's absolutely fine with me, but it's perfectly been fine for the last 9 months. And I waited, and when you guys email me any additional items or any changes I did, I was gone at conference Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and just came back to the office at 10 o'clock this morning, literally got up this morning, put my clothes on, went to the morning session, was the first person probably out of 900 people to check out of the hotel to get here to put this stuff, finish putting this information together for you.
You should have run that past him personally, not just put it on.
Then you know what? Then we should have been doing that for the last 9 months, because the way we've done it for the last 9 months is I email it to you guys.
when we left here Thursday evening, we were going to have the finished budget session after our regular meeting.
That's what was
At that
discussed
time,
at
that
Thursday.
time, that
That's what I'm
5:36
saying. I am not
And
doing
then-
anything wrong. You guys told me on Thursday to bring this information to you today, and that's what I've done. What you guys do going forward is your
because we only had a
business.
couple items to finalize, primarily being PSAP and the radio equipment, and I got some updated information for that. So on the PSAP, what is the amount we have to cut? Yeah, come on.
Are we continuing the regular meeting or are we done? Because
think
I'm not
Let's
participating in this.
let public speaking, they got to come first.
Paul, are you the president? I mean, what is going on here? This is
Yeah.
completely out of
I'm just
order.
asking questions.
Oh, you're way
No,
out
this
of
is
order.
out
in
of order.
council.
This is totally out of line.
I'm just asking questions.
This is ridiculous. Yeah.
Joe?
We'll take care of Tara.
Did you want her to come up?
Yes.
Did everybody get the updated HFI budget that I have emailed?
Yes.
Thank you. Do you guys have any questions? As you know, that final HFI budget was due September 25th. I submitted another budget because we had to get to this meeting to get council approval. Do you guys have any questions, concerns? I just want to be very, very clear. The health department, the 60% funding that went to 4 positions. So right now I'm not talking about our sanitarian. Okay. We took off the salary increase for expanded hours. And we revised some numbers that you gave us during the budget session. Does anybody have any questions?
So you've expanded the programs and
Absolutely.
removed that, and I appreciate that because I think that that's.
Thank you. My
That's
one
good.
request, if I can say one thing, we were told that the health department only got a 5% raise because of all the grant funding. We have now switched some of that around to expand services, so I would ask that that would be reconsidered for our group.
We haven't
because I feel like
adopted a
that's
budget, so we're not even finished with that portion of it, so absolutely. I will consider that.
All I need is approval. I got to get this thing put in.
I do have a question about, can we talk about the second half, the sanitarians portion?
I will do my best.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I noticed that you left in or it was left in, I don't know if that was Kim that did that, the portion with the salary.
Yes, and that will fund 5 additional hours. So if you look at Kim's timesheet right now, I'm sure she does her comp time a little bit differently because of where it's paid out of. So my assumption is that it pays for 5 additional hours each week so that it will not be so much comp time. So it's truly 5 additional hours though, and I think she clearly stated that.
Okay, and so the person that's going to be hired part-time for her.
Yeah.
To help her,
Mhm.
that's not something that a duty that that person could do those extra hours or?
I think that is from my understanding, that position is very, it could be 2 people. It's 2 people in a lot of other counties. And I think that it's to relieve some of the duties while also giving Kim more time to do what needs to be done.
Any other questions?
Anybody?
I'm okay with it.
Thank you. We have worked really, really hard on this for a year. I mean, a year of my time and the girls' time have went into this. And I hope that that is considered when you make decisions, whether it's today or Tuesday. I hope that that is considered and you look at the expansion that the health department is taking on because it is quite an expansion.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Terry.
I can't do anything without an official,
Vote.
yeah. And I mean, it's 28th.
I would entertain a motion for,
Make a motion.
who made the motion?
I will.
Keith made a motion,
Second.
second by Paul. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I
Opposed?
Okay.
Nay?
Aye.
Did you vote?
She
I said
was
aye.
okay.
5-2. Okay, now, what are we doing here?
Okay.
I don't know what to do.
What
Be
was this last vote? What was the vote? I thought I wrote down 7-0, but you said 5-2.
5-2.
5-2.
What?
I didn't hear any opposed, that's why I didn't know.
No,
What did you
I
vote?
said 8.
Okay, I guess it
Oh, I
was
thought you
7-0.
said nay.
That's what I was saying. I was like, I didn't hear any nays, so I'm like,
Please do hands.
Okay. So you want to dispense with the rest of the meeting?
Motion and vote.
We have an advertised workshop for this.
We can always cancel that.
Pick up where we left off Thursday evening.
And does everybody have all their stuff? I mean, I didn't bring any of that
I don't have any.
because that wasn't gonna be here. It's a lot more than that. If you had questions or you had any other notes wrote down or anything like that. I had a lot.
Can I say something? Just a public comment. And it does not warrant a response from anybody, but just from things I've heard and a thing that was mentioned at the public hearings last week, the public budget hearings, is that one person is going to be gone all month next month. Every single one of you know that. And for you to plan to schedule a meeting next week when you know that person is going to be gone, I don't think he deserved
Okay,
that.
that person could have
That
been
didn't happen.
zoomed in.
Yep, was
There
offered,
was not an issue there.
But was that even a discussion?
Yes, it
Yes.
was.
offered.
So, yeah, just an opinion.
We had a person who missed the meeting at the regular session. This was not an issue when that person wasn't there, but suddenly became an issue when Paul wasn't available, which I don't understand, but whatever.
It wouldn't have just been him. It would have been several.
Well,
So something pre-planned for that too? I mean, this is really a lot.
I really don't know how to proceed with this either.
You're the president.
Pick up where we left off Thursday evening.
I just feel like we're leaving people hanging, and I just don't like that.
For what, 2 days? for 3 days.
It's been a week almost already.
I guess I don't understand the rush.
We didn't finalize the budget in the 3 days.
No, it was a workshop.
It was a work session to do our budget. And we didn't finalize it in the 3 days. So we did another day.
Those numbers were not set in concrete when we went to and voted. I knew we had another vote to adopt the budget, but I just thought we needed some more work, a lot.
And it had nothing to do with Paul not being able to make it. That wasn't why it was scheduled.
Yeah.
It was scheduled because we didn't meet, I don't know if you know, the hospital, the EMS services, they asked all of us to meet with them. And I did go out there,
I went out there.
and Kelly went out there. We did learn some information from them. And that's why we thought, well, we had that meeting and we'd had more information because those were areas that we needed to discuss at the budget. And that's why we went with October 3rd. It had nothing to do with Paul not being able to make it. And we asked if he wanted to do a Zoom. And I talked to Chris about that.
Yesterday. We talked about it at the conference yesterday.
Bring you up to speed, David. I talked to Jared also in regards to EMS, so
So we have 3 of us that have.
I'm more, I mean,
Yeah, he sent an email asking everybody to come out to tour and have a discussion about the needs of EMS and what they need to maintain 2 trucks on the road, which is very important. And I think everybody needs to do that before the October 3rd meeting.
Another thing concerning salaries, probably the lowest paid positions here are making $16, $17 an hour. You're receiving 15 paid holidays. You're receiving a retirement benefit of 11.2%. You have an insurance premium, which has not been raised for 15 years. And the county has absorbed all of that as insurance has raised considerably since Obama care. And then to give like 10% raises, I don't know. That's the thing we should be doing. I don't think we're being fiscally responsible.
Would you work for $16 an hour these days and age?
Not too long ago, the county
It's
employees,
not
went for a couple of
very
years, got a
well.
raise.
You what?
Wasn't too long ago, the county employees went for a couple of years without getting a raise at all.
That's true.
but a week ago today, you voted yes to do it.
I was trying to eliminate a stalemate. We weren't going anywhere.
Chris, what is left for us to do to make the numbers work so you can,
As far as the numbers that I
Finish up.
told you guys on the 21st that I was going to bring to you. So this is not anything different, but on the 21st, at the end of that, you guys wanted me to bring you the information to tell you where you were in regards to the max levy. Regarding the max levy, I've given you guys the information. It's this spreadsheet right here. And I actually went ahead and submitted all this information on Monday regarding what you guys asked for where we would be in regards to sticking with the 2023 wages. So I am just giving you guys the information that you are asking for. In regards to that, the max levy, we are over on the general, $227,867.73. Reassessment, we are under budget, $5,178. Cume Bridge, we are under budget, $67,463.73. The health, we are under budget, $98,032, with a total of our max levy being over $57,195. When I talked to Baker Tilly, they explained that the huge increases that we added, that's with our general fund, that's what's throwing our general fund off. And if you guys remember in your budget book, we increased the popper from 50 to 300. We increased the care for institution from 70 to 312. In normal practice, You can set those lower. This is not uncommon in Perry County. This is not uncommon in other counties. You budget lower because you have the incoming revenue to support that. You can only raise your budget so much. So if you guys go from raising 50 to 300 and go raising from 70 to 312, you just ate up a huge chunk of what you got. Doesn't mean you don't have the revenue to support it. It just means that's your big increase in your budget. You can't, it's not going to allow for you to increase in other areas. So with the budget on that, you were over on your general $227,868. Okay. Now, just like I give you guys the information before, on the general, this other page right here that I've given you, I've broken down everything from your numbers from 21 to the 3rd. Regarding the general, your estimated income is $6,486,100. With the numbers as the end of Thursday, which would be the 5% and 10% raise, your expenditures would be $6,477,581, which revenue to expenditures, you are still over, like when I say over, or still under budget, under budget, 8,519 revenue to expenditures. That's not talking about cash balance. That's talking income to expenditures. And like I stated at the budget workshop, we are projected, now this is not including additional appropriations between now and the end of the year, we are projected to end with a cash balance of almost $1.5 million, 1.4 something. Okay. Now, I also figured the numbers on what you guys asked me to give you. Okay. As far as no raises. So if we would not do any raises, your revenue is still going to be the $6,486,100. And your expenditures are only going to be $6,217,924, leaving you under budget $268,176. And then as reassessment, we are fine. Reassessment, we are under budget 5,178. Health, we are under budget 105,259. Hume Bridge, we are under budget 67,464. Now, lit is another thing we talked about. Our estimated lit income is 669,552. With our current budget right now, with lit public safety sheriff, lit public safety commissioners, and lit public safety jail, we're over budget $7,024. Okay. I did the exact same information you guys requested on that. If we went back to no raises, same numbers there as far as income, the expenditures changed, but you are under budget, so of $19,067. So I'm providing the information. That's all I'm doing. And that's what I've got to give. That's what I've got for you guys.
And I received that information about 2 hours ago, and I was working, so I didn't have time to review. So this is, I'm not having.
Can I make a comment though? If we were in the budget workshop, you would sit and talk about this the same. All I'm saying is.
No, I would have had time to review it, and then I could get my questions together and be a part of the discussion. That's what I like to do in advance. I don't like something.
But like I said, at the end of end of Thursday, I was told to bring you guys this information. I gave you the information.
I got it 2 hours ago. And I was working.
And if I would have plugged it on, been able to do it all on my calculator, you would have had it at 6:15 or 6:30 that night if we would have stuck around. But we were all tired, so.
No, I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying it's inappropriate. I believe it's inappropriate to try to shove this through tonight when nobody, I mean, did you just get this a couple hours ago? Did you get it a couple hours ago? Have you reviewed it? I mean, it seems very
I was waiting
rushed,
for,
and the county budget is not something you want to rush.
Do I need to find?
If you want to come up here, you can.
Yes, sir. You have an entire gallery full of people because 4 of your councilmen, Kelly, voted for these raises. There was a meeting scheduled for October 3rd, and your county feels like it was underhanded. Now, I'm telling you what other people say, okay?
Yeah,
I
and
feel the
I don't
same.
run on
I'm not done.
hearsay,
I'm not
speculation,
done.
or
I'm not
rumors. I
done.
run
I'm
on
not done.
facts.
Last week's budget meetings were painful. It has nothing to do with if I like you or you like me. It was painful to watch. This
I
is
have to-
outrageous.
I have to agree, this
Okay.
underhanded behind the scenes.
No,
Get people
no,
here.
it's just because it's
Voting
flipped on
is
you, but I'm not making this about
It is
you.
extremely inappropriate when we're talking about millions of dollars that
Your
our
county
hardworking
attorney,
taxpayers
I'm not
are
talking
paying.
to directly to, you are not the only person up here. Do you understand that? Your county attorney just told you they have the power to do what you don't want to. And it is so frustrating. And I don't know how to say that other than, you want to know how many people feel the same way?
So all
They
these people
want
knew this was gonna happen?
Your departments,
Is that what you're saying?
no, they want they should be making anyway. Okay? The wage study, we all know you don't like it. We all know you don't want to
No,
do this. We
time
get it.
out.
You don't
This
have
is
to say it
inappropriate. You
over
will
and
not
over.
speak for me, Megan. You will not speak for
You
me. I am
spoke
tired
for
of the
yourself,
gossip, the
Kelly.
hearsay, the rumors, and the speculation.
That's why I'm
It's
saying
not
it to your
okay
face,
to
and you don't
slander
want to
a
hear it.
public official in any capacity.
Girl,
when
I've
you
already
have-
talked to an attorney because I knew that was
This
coming
is,
to
this is inappropriate.
My-
This is completely
As a
inappropriate.
citizen, come after me. It's fine. But the people who can't afford to pay their bills, they work too. They work too.
Megan,
Our
you're
sheriff's
making an assumption. that someone-
okay, I'm shaking.
This is, David. this is-
Over the weekend, I want to tell you what happened. A man came out of the woods. A man came out of the woods into my cousin's backyard. It took 45 minutes for a sheriff's deputy to get there. There were small kids there. We need more. They need more money.
Have we
I
said
get
we're
it,
not
and
gonna
I'm
do that?
sorry.
Who has said we're not gonna do that?
But my biggest problem is I love when Gail speaks. I love when Keith speaks. Stan, I like when you speak because you have your own head too. David, Chris is up here trying to tell you, you can do this. All anybody heard was one voice, and that is from me to you because I said
Okay.
it behind your back, so
But,
I said
but
it to your
I'm,
face.
but I'm gonna tell
I
you
would
something.
love to
I'm an
hear
elected official and my
everybody
voice
else,
matters
and I'm
on this
shaking, so I'm
board
gonna
and
sit
I
down.
will continue to
Okay.
speak my opinion and my voice because that's what I was elected to do. If you don't like the questions or you don't like the things that I'm asking, I can't help it. But I will not operate, I will not govern on, I don't govern based on emotions or personal things. I govern based on facts and numbers. And that's just how it is. And nobody on this board said that they didn't want anybody to not get a raise. That's ultimately my goal. That's why I want to be more efficient with the budget. That's why I want to find all the inefficiencies in the county so that we can
What we
have more
should
money to
done,
have
and it
things
wasn't
like
done,
raises and better ambulance service and more police and those
and
type
Baker
things.
Tilly recommended this. The people at the workshops at AIC conference recommended it. That before you get your budget, you go take your wages back to the baseline. And then you start looking at where you can cut government services or whatever. And then once you get through all that, then you go back and do your raises. You don't give your raises and then go back and cut government services or whatever. We got it backwards.
In that budget hearing, and they didn't say that.
I have a
we did.
recording of it. I have a recording.
Yeah,
I
we
can.
did.
They didn't say take it back to zero. They didn't even go into specifics on the budget. But basically, they said, start with
Okay.
your cash balance, take your expenses and your income, take your expenses and your income, and get your remaining cash balance and try not to touch that cash balance.
But
That's as in depth they went in.
And they actually talked about
But Baker
raises.
Tilly suggested that you go take it back to the baseline. We have the email on it.
The
It was sent
request
to
for-
January,
They also
February
said
25th.
that you don't
Over
wait,
next year.
that you start
Right.
talking about this in June, you don't wait till the end.
Yep.
That's true.
Well, we'll know for next year.
So what is the maximum levy? We do not want to cut below the 540,000. Where are we at on that?
I just gave that to you. I explained to you. That's what this is. These are your numbers right there. With that, there's with the top number.
The two,
Yep. The top number is with the numbers from the end of at the end of the day, Thursday. And the bottom number is bringing it back to flatline 2023 salaries. So
I'm gonna make it clear. As long as the raises stand as they are, I'll be a no to any motion to the budget. I just don't. I don't like the way this county is moving.
so we have to take,
David, can I make a comment?
yes.
I would like to say I just spent the last 4 days with a lot of auditors, a lot of recorders, a lot of assessors, and a lot of clerks. We are not the only county that is in this position, and there are a lot of counties that I spoke with that are doing 8 to 10% raises. This is not uncommon, so I just want to explain that, and if you need documentation, I can work on getting that for you, but when you go to these conferences, I spent 4 days there. Not 1 day, not a morning, 4 days. And I learned more in the networking and talking with other counties and other auditors. I'm not saying that at those conferences, I didn't take little pieces of information in the work sessions, but those are basic knowledges and PowerPoints. You learn more from experience and talking to other elected officials in every other office. I was in with auditors every morning, having breakfast, lunch, talking with them and understanding, what are you doing with this situation? I am telling you right now, this is not uncommon. There has been a huge increase in the cost of living. And I'm not talking for myself. I mean, I'm talking for everyone else. But if you look even in the private sector, the cost of living is going up. And they said in that budget hearing, if I remember correctly, you were going to have to pay $20 to get skilled positions. And you both were in that session, and Baker Tilly did state, or was it the other guy? It was the other guy, which I don't remember. He said, this day and age, you have to pay $20 at least $20 an hour to get that. So I was there.
Chris, according to our government, the COLA this year, Social Security I'm talking about raises are 3.2% this year.
I don't know what that means. I don't.
Everybody on Social Security will get 3.2. It's whether some make more
Do
than
people on
others.
Social
So
Security have children and multiple mouths to feed? No, most of the people on Social Security have 1 or 2 mouths to feed and have people
I'm just
working.
saying what
Well, I just explained, that's apples to oranges. That is not apples to
No,
apples.
I get it.
So that's all I want to say is that in these 4 days, that's what I got.
Mr. Goffin, where do you live? In Tell City?
I'm not telling you.
Okay, so I do know you do. So here's my
What's
deal.
that- what-
You
what
want to
does
talk
that-
about, hold
what
on,
does
Listen
that
to him
have to
talk.
do with
Let
it?
him talk.
you let me speak and I'll explain it.
What he asked me a question, what does that have to do with this?
Because a lot of times, what you're not thinking about is the people that live in the county. I don't live in the county, but I work in the county. I hear a lot of these people complain to me, and the first thing I want to say to them, call the council. But I'm not like that. I take it in the chin all the time about the money that my deputy and my correctional officers make. We're having feces thrown at them. And if you want to say that you don't support that raise, I cannot believe that as a person that you would do that. You have no idea. You live in Tell City. You have a lot of people respond if you get called. You do. I know. I worked for Tell City Police Department for over 20 years, but now I work for the county, and that's a total different person. So please understand, with these people that live in the county, they are underpaid, my deputies. I want to be more equal to other people. But if you just say you don't support that,
What
I can't
about
understand.
those people that are working on a fixed income and eventually we're gonna have to raise taxes on these people?
Everybody gets their taxes raised. I'm sorry to say that. But here's what I'm saying is, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And you can roll your eyes all day long. But what are you gonna do when I have nobody over there that wants to work? What are you gonna do? Who are you going to call?
You have people working right now.
Oh, yeah, they do, but they are very upset. So I just want to tell you, I know where you live as well as I do. I live in Tell City. We have the luxury of more officers here. If I call, they're coming. But the people in the county, they don't. But I am tired. I am really tired of getting the same complaints. Sheriff, where were you? Well, we might have been somewhere else. I can't help that. So now I'm gonna refer them to you.
Will
you answer that one?
Do you go out on the road with all
Absolutely.
the others and take a shift and everything?
Absolutely. I go out a lot. I'm out 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning.
Well, and I've known you for a long time, so we can agree to disagree.
Hey, hold on.
I'm gonna feed off
No.
on this.
No. It's my turn to talk.
Okay.
I'm asking you
just gonna
this.
support you.
Anybody in here does not send me out at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So you're telling me I don't do that?
No, I never said that. I asked you, are you? I did.
Yes, I am. I
Okay,
come out here a lot.
okay,
On weekends.
okay.
But for you to say some of the things you said that you don't support, that means you don't support law enforcement. That you don't support the things that we're trying to do across it. No, I'm talking. I'm not interrupting you. I have not interrupted you yet. So I'm just telling you right
You're
now,
attacking me right now.
I'm not attacking you,
Yes, you
nothing.
are.
Just like I've already heard you were talking about me
You
at
told
the
me-
AIC.
you told
I've
me
heard
what I
that.
thought.
I've heard some good things that you were talking bad about me at AIC, so I do appreciate that. Thank you.
I was talking bad about you.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna feed off of the jailers over there are making $18 an hour. Do the math on a 40-hour work week. They're making $36,000 a year.
Holidays and weekends.
They're a family. Those are men over there, usually the head of the household. Are you gonna live on 36,000? I bet, Dan, you live on more than 36,000.
I don't know that.
And I
We've got
do wanna
single
say-
people
I
that
do-
can't afford to live on what you're paying them, and you're sitting there saying, well, you get 15 paid holidays, shut the hell up and swallow it. No, thank you. No, thank you.
And I will say this, that I came back and I was gone. I apologize. I was gone last week. And before that, I had a family emergency, so I couldn't be here. I appreciate Eric Dickinson for stepping up, and he did a great job. I've never seen the morale so happy after I found out what we thought we were going to get. I've never, ever had a deputy hug me right there. A deputy hug me and said, oh my God, this is awesome. For to yank that out, thank you.
Chris, you deal with this more than anybody. What do you recommend? Oh, I'm sorry, Steve.
I've got two guys that came out there a few years ago. They quit the state, came out there because we were paying more for truck drivers. Now we're paying $18 and something an hour, and the state's paying some of theirs up to $26 an hour. And, when you, same thing with operators, there's none of us out there are making what they should be making. And, well, you can tell from looking at the guys here, they were kind of excited about thinking they was going to get 10% raise. I mean, there's most of my crew there. They wanted to come and see what was, took an interest in county government.
Chris, you deal with the numbers more than anybody. What do you recommend we do?
When I talked to Susan today,
Susan, that's
Susan with Baker Tilly, that is our consultant with Baker Tilly. The biggest concern right now, if you look with the raises, the one with the numbers, I hate saying with the raises, but with the numbers off of the end of the day, Thursday, if you look at that sheet, we're over $227,868. Let's round up.
Okay.
But like I stated earlier, if you look in your budget book, in the general fund, give me 1 second. You have your budget book?
What the page you on?
I'm looking for it real quick. I'm so frazzled right now. If you look at page 14, actually page 15,
Okay, and everybody has this.
okay? Page 14. or
Everybody
15.
does not have that.
It's in front of you in the packet that I gave you if you wish to look at that one. These are typed of everything you guys did at budget session. They're typed, not handwritten, typed. So if you look at care of institution, last year we budgeted $70,000. We are now, which we've had that increase, which I completely understand. But you go from 70,000 to 312. That's an increase of 242,000. Now, if you go to the circuit court, which is page 19. So hold on, I gotta get my bearings real quick. So we've got 242K there.
Yep.
And if you look at our pauper attorney, where am I
Off
at?
attorney.
Where's the pauper attorney at? I can't-
It's budget.
Sorry, I'm frazzled. We went from budgeting 250,000 to 300,000. That's an additional $50,000 K. So you're at 292,000 in additional. When you are only allowed to raise your budget by 4% and you increase two areas large like that to 292, that eats up a lot of it. But like I've said, I don't know any other way I can explain it. And I've sent you guys the emails from them. If they're two different things. Your max levy is you can only raise your budget 4% from one year to the next. But if you look at our estimated income, we are, I don't want to say we're fine. I don't know. I've given you the numbers. Based on our income, we would have 8,519,000 left. This income is very conservative too. When you are doing a budget, you figure income very conservatively. So, and this is not touching any cash balance. This is not taking into consideration interest. You know, I know I pointed that out, but I think it's a huge accomplishment and a good thing for us. I know it took us a little bit to get there, and I know some of us, it's kind of been a little bit to swallow, right, Steve? I know. But we have increased, the treasurer and I have been working together, and I give Amanda 100% of the work credit she's doing, but we're bringing in, we're moving smart with our money and getting the best rate we can, and have brought in over $250,000 in just 6 months, or actually I think it was 8 months, 8 months of interest. That goes in the general fund. So that's not in here. You know, this is just our property tax income and guaranteed monies. And, you know, so, I mean, I'm not saying telling you guys what you need to do. I mean, of course that's yours, but I'm giving you the numbers to go with it. Now, I do want to make one comment about something that was budgeted, and this is just my insight on it, because I feel like it's going to be a reflection. I think it involves me. I put in the paper, we have private sectors that come and request money. You know, William Tell Senior Citizen Center was here, 4-H, different private sectors, organizations come here. I advertised it in the paper for 3 weeks. I put it on our website. Any private sector that called asking about it, where if we had given money before, like the 4-H called saying, hey, when do I have to have this in? You know, they obviously had it on their calendar. I got their email, sent them the information, told them it was on our website. It was in the paper. But I personally don't feel it's proper for me to send individual emails to private sectors, private organizations, telling them, hey, come ask the county for money. You know, I advertised it on the website. It was in the paper. If you've gotten money in the past, you should have some type of organization within your board as far as meeting minutes, a calendar, something like that to tell you. You guys decided to give animal welfare $5,000. I have no problem with giving animal welfare $5,000. That's your guys' decision. But Ride Solutions did not request any money too. I'm just saying, if you're gonna give to one that didn't request, then you better give to the both that you gave last year. Or, on the other hand, I think you're opening a whole can of worms if you give money to to a private sector just by choice. Because then all these other entities that didn't request any money, why didn't you choose to give them the money? So my advice is to remove that $5,000. If the animal welfare, after we have our annual financial report completed and they end up having some program or something that they need money for, they can come and ask for it then, and you can do an additional. But
They can always come back, and also
Correct.
ride share or whatever, they can come to,
Correct.
anybody can come for that.
But I just don't personally,
Yep,
just that look on that, I just think it's,
I agree, I think we should cut it.
and we talk about fairness, and I just don't think that's fair.
Going back to the attorney.
Just for clarification, the Animal Welfare Board is a government, it's part of the government entity. It's a committee it's not a private sector. So just to clarify.
From the pauper attorney to 300,000, that's probably, may very well be that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the
Well, we just took a real big hit here.
patients,
So we just took a real big hit a couple months ago with that
yes,
$115,000.
and you got another one now. And we have a murder trial, which is not happened. We have, I don't know how many other trials, child molestations and so forth. Care of patients in institutions, that's probably legit. It's probably going to continue.
It's included in this
I know
right
that.
here. So it's included in that. Your whole issue is you're over on the max levy. You've increased your budget over the amount that you're allowed to increase your budget, if that's easier.
That's why we have to
paper
cut.
wording. Yeah.
So
You have to decrease your budget, and then,
And then you're cutting it when you decrease your budget.
that's correct.
You have to decrease your budget to meet that.
But like I said, it's not uncommon, and David, I'm pretty sure you're aware of this, that it's not uncommon that you budget the 50,000 or you budget that, and then you have the cash to support it, and then you come back after if you need it.
And there you're using your cash, of course, you gotta understand
No,
that.
you're not. You're using your revenue. You're not.
Well,
That's not
as long as
touching
your,
cash.
as long as your revenues come in that amount, you're okay probably.
These are the base numbers. These are the numbers
I
from the
understand.
property tax. This is not, they're conservative numbers, but this is guaranteed funds. Does that make sense? This isn't interest. This isn't money you don't know if you're not going to get. This is the number.
You're talking the 6 million.
The 6,477,581.
Okay, I'm looking at here for, what was our pauper attorney expenses? That's on page 19.
When you're looking at Paul,
I'm looking at pauper attorney on 31104.
right, but what are you asking?
Is that what we spent? 271, 726, what we spent so
That was
far?
last year.
That's actually what we did this year. 141, 643 is what we spent so far.
Well, we haven't
That is
had
as of June. These numbers are as of June.
And
We got additional
You had more, does anybody have their budget book with the actual, the blue page in front of it? Because that's as of September. I didn't bring mine with that.
19.
we're appropriating 300,000. Never put in there, but we only used 141,000.
Oh, where's your blue page for the 19? Are they out there?
I
It
took
looks
back
like they're out of order.
500,000.
Oh, no, that's because it's in general.
Oh, it's only total.
That's all in total. Sorry, I can't see. I mean, I can go look. I know we
No, that's
did.
okay.
I know we spent it. And we had to do we spent all 250 and we had to do an additional appropriation for 215 this year
So we got
because of that
big.
situation. So,
Yeah, we've over.
yeah, we're at least 3. We spent the 250.
But this has just been a very unusual year.
plus 115. So we've spent 365 in pauper attorneys this year.
So this
365,000.
is the world we're
sorry.
living in right now, I think, Paul.
Yep.
But even if you guys wanted to, what I'm explaining is even if you still wanted, so if you still were anticipating the expense of 300,000 for your pauper attorney and you decreased it and then came back after, in 2024, you would still have the funds to support it with your revenue, because I'm telling you right now, with everything in this book, you'd have 8,519 left just in your property tax and guaranteed fund revenue. That's not,
My personal feeling, it'll be cut back by about half. To about 150,000. In past, up to the last couple of years, they had 50,000 in it, then they come and ask for more as needed.
those are the two funds that I would look at bringing your budget back on, because those are two that you just don't know. You just don't know. So if you would bring the budget back, then come September or, whenever, and you'd still have the supporting revenue to bring that up without touching your cash balance. And it's not an uncommon thing.
Is that a motion, Paul?
Well, the two big things I had on the note that we left on from last Thursday, week night, was PSAP and the radio. And that number at that time was 73,000 for PSAP and the radio 250,000. So since talked to Steve, and I think there's some update information on that, would you care to come forward, maybe kind of fill us in or update for rates on the updates and stuff? To see where we are.
During the budget sessions, I did not have the accurate figures. The 250 was something that I was estimating. I requested from Motorola. Caution, Motorola is probably the most expensive piece of equipment that is available. But as a starting point, that's what I did. I asked them because we currently have Motorola equipment.
Take them down, pass it around.
The current equipment is reaching its lifespan as far as updates and service. It's functioning very well at this time. It may function for some time longer. The problem we're facing is a firmware upgrade. If that is needed in 2024, it's questionable whether it would accept the upgrade. As far as the equipment itself, it's functioning fine at this time. Received a quote today from Motorola to completely replace the dispatch equipment, the radio equipment. I was off on what I originally stated at 250,000. I figured that without replacing any of the backroom transmitters. But after talking to Motorola, they feel like that when we do this upgrade, we should also bring the transmitters up to match the new equipment and for the future. So they included replacing the 12 transmitters. Their estimate was $597,419. They offer several different options on payment plans. If we were to accept that on a 5-year option plan, it puts the payments at about $136,767.85. That is considering a down payment of $59,741.90. I personally think we need to look at other options, not just say that we're going to purchase equipment from the vendor there at Motorola. There's a lot of new technology and things out, and I think we need to slow down just a little. I think we need to keep focused on that during 2024, that's something we need to be thinking about and considering. The questions. I think we have a lot of questions needs to be answered because it could reflect the cost estimates. I would just like to see us slow down just a little. Give me time to maybe look at some grants that might be available for some of this, that we could reach out that might help, or any other funding options we may have before we just jump in and say we need to budget 250 or 136 or whatever. But I do think we need to keep focused on it during 2024 to look at all of our options and look where we go for the future with this.
There's other funding, possible funding mechanism too, like the 911 fund possible.
Possibly with 911, there could also be some funding that would assist on that. The 911 funding will not and cannot be used for console furniture, but it can be used. It is an authorized expense for the radio equipment in dispatch.
Any idea what kind of money you think would be available on an annual basis?
I can tell you right now, we have approximately 106,000 that we call like a reserve. It is non-appropriated. It's all in one big fund. I can also tell you that we have not received our 90-10 split money for this year. I did talk to the state today. They are in an audit themselves currently. They feel like that they will have those figures available in late October or first part of November. So that would be whatever it is, we don't know yet. It could be 10,000, it could be 40,000. We don't know what that amount is until they actually send it down. But that would be in addition to the 100 surplus that we have right now. Our committee would kind of like to stay somewhere around 100 grand in case we have something drop immediately that we need it. We have an unexpected emergency purchase. But I feel that if we get this 90-10 money this year, part of that funding could also be utilized toward this radio equipment.
Isn't there some equipment going to be paid off this year too, December or something?
That I mentioned during the budget session there at the Armory, and I didn't have the exact date, but I did call German American today. We have had a loan with German American to pay for our 911 equipment. This was on a 10-year lease. We never owned the equipment. What this payment does is pay for that service, pay for the lease of that equipment from AT&T. That payment has been running us $85,248 each year for the 10-year period. Did confirm with German American that will be paid off December of this year. I went ahead and put in the budget for 2024 the same amount, thinking that we would be renewing a contract with AT&T and we would have the similar amount to pay each year. I contacted AT&T. I was incorrect with that. Our amount is going to come down. That is great news. We are not going to have the same amount of $85,248 to pay in 2024. In fact, AT&T has a different deal now. They will no longer do a 10-year agreement. They will only go 5 years because they feel like after 5 years, the technology is changing, your equipment is starting to become obsolete. So 5 years is all they will go. They quoted us a price of $4,470 per month. We were paying around $7,104 per month. So we are going to have extra money left in that budget line item where I had put in there $85,248 for lease of equipment. Something that I would give you guys as an option to think about. We were looking at still a deficit in dispatch services of around $73,000. After Tell City refigured and reduced the assistant chief from the 75% to the 50%, that reduced our deficit down to $50,391 is all we have to find yet. We can move, if you guys, that would be your decision, we can move part of that $85,248 from our dispatch budget up to dispatch services to cover that entire amount. So we would not have to find that from other funding sources. That would still give us enough money to pay the lease payments to AT&T for 2024 providing that the commissioners will sign the new agreement. They are requesting the new agreement signed in either December of 2023 or sometime in January of 2024. Our first payment with the new agreement, providing it is signed, will not be due until around June 1st of 2024. So that allowed us the whole $50,391 that we can move up to that other line item to cover our deficit that we were still looking for, if that helps.
And Steve, when you adjust these numbers, you want to tell them about this page in your book. When he adjusts these numbers, ran these with me today. It doesn't change the 283. It doesn't change his
total amount
number. It
stays
just,
the same.
he just moved that to a different line item.
The white page that I marked in red ink pen, I did that this afternoon once I got the figures from AT&T. That is only my suggestion. Again, that is the county council's decision.
But you're saying it takes care of that shortage.
That's correct. It would take care of
And
that shortage.
also, Steve, the anticipated income for 2024 in that is 322,000, and you only have budgeted 283. So that's a reserve of
It gives us
30.
a cushion there
of 39.
for something does
Yes.
come up, yes.
So in essence, we really don't need to cut that. The PSAP can be absorbed, you can take
It
care
can
of
be
it.
absorbed right there with this budget within
That
itself.
money we don't need to cut.
Very nice, Steve.
Again, that's your all's decision, but if that helps.
It's just like with Chris Alden, you gotta deal with this every day, you know, Steve. You know more about than we do, and that's why I like to explain to us what you got and what you think.
And I'm sorry I did not have those figures at your 3-day session, but
So, but you got about 100,000 right now in the emergency fund.
around 106 right now.
Okay, and
yes.
that money is not earmarked for anything.
This has
Right
nothing
now,
to do
it's
with
not
the
earmarked.
money, so.
That's correct.
No, but
Okay,
the PSAP,
It turned 30,000 was just a guesstimate.
well, it
That's
helps
mine.
because you
And
guys were
well, I
talking
find
about the
that-
deficit
We got
for
some-
PSAP. You don't have to worry
So
about
that's
that
right.
in general, so
Yeah.
it kind of does, but it doesn't.
Yeah,
If you bottom line, we probably all just kind of stay, she goes with this for a while until we see
So
where
the
we're
two
at.
questions
I would
that
like a
you
little
asked,
more
the
time
250
to try to get
radio
more information on
and the
it from other
73,
vendors
there's your
and
answer.
see exactly where we stand on it. This is kind of rushing together for me to come to you and ask for that amount of money. I feel like it's a little premature at this time. But we do need to keep focused on it. We definitely do.
It's nice to hear some positive news.
So I mean, really, you don't need to do anything with the 250,000 right now.
I would hold off if it was me, but that's strictly you guys. But I would like a little more time to investigate it and see where it goes.
And the good news that this radio payment is paid off this year.
That is a 911 lease equipment.
Yes,
It
the
is paid
lease.
off.
That frees up a chunk of
That
change.
frees up, yes.
how much was that principal? The principal on that 911 payment is going to be paid off. How much was it? I don't know.
Yeah, I probably got that.
That's all right.
Yeah. We saved a lot of money. We had an option at the time, each 10 years, to actually lease the equipment and do the financing through AT&T. We found out with the interest rate through local banks, we were able to save quite a bit. The problem we're running into in going to a local bank for that financing, you're asking for an unsecured loan. At this time, it was around $750,000. Some banks will not do that anymore. The last time, 2 local banks said they could not do an unsecured loan. German American did do it at that time. But we saved a lot versus going with the financing through AT&T.
Which Steve at AIC and all the vendor and the exhibitions, I spoke with 3 different vendors that with FirstNet and all that do funding for this. So I got a lot of cards and a lot of contact information from this weekend.
I would like to add one more thing before I sit down. You all got my resignation letter from 911 director. I will assure you, I will not dump on this county. I will be here to help with this stuff,
Appreciate that.
as long as you want me to.
Just
Thank you, Steve.
one quick question. You got about 100,000 reserved right now. And like, if this thing materializes and we go into next year and have like a lease, we're talking about maybe $130,000 a year. payment.
37 or
Okay, so
36.
let's just say we cut that back, 200,000 off that, put 50,000 in that. So you have $150,000 in that fund to, if, again, we're kind of prodding along here. That should leave you in a pretty good position to move forward.
It would.
Okay. One other quick question. I don't know. Too many numbers. The PSAP, okay, that can be absorbed into that 50,000. We can,
The shortage we have there,
Yes.
the 50,391,
yeah, yeah,
we can take care of that within our 911 budget.
It's
If you all
transfer.
decide
If you
to make
guys-
those changes.
okay.
You guys would have to
If you
okay
decide
that
to do that.
transfer.
And it will not increase the overall
Okay.
budget.
All right.
That would make our commitment, fulfill our commitment from the joint city council meeting.
Well, let's go back to square one. I'm thinking, Paul, anybody else got questions?
We still have the 31,000, half of Carrollton, half of Troy, 30 some
That
thousand.
would still be looking at providing that the agreements are signed by the commissioners with Cannleton. Cannleton bringing in 12,500.
Right.
And the town of Troy, 3,000. That's on the second page, the one right after that.
I was just saying we haven't paid.
If we had to pay that, you're saying?
I'm not saying we haven't paid last year's yet.
You mean this year's?
Yeah, this year.
2023, I was
I
like,
see what you're saying, Dave. We're still looking at an additional this year to take care. Yes, and that is in the amount of 46,555. And there is money in that dedicated to PSAP 911. There is money in there for that, to cover that. So that would not be a general expense.
So if we were to cut 200,000 off for the radio equipment and we just put 50 in there, that would still, that plus 100,000 in there right now, would still leave you pretty comfortable.
Pretty comfortable if we went with the worst case scenario
Right.
at the
Okay.
And
Okay.
I'll tell you, the Motorola plan is the highest worst case scenario I'm giving you.
and
You
we
would-
can have time for options to bring in options and other funding options.
Okay.
But you would write up a spec and Motorola's price may come down if it was in a bid
Right.
situation.
This is not a bid price.
That's just a
And
quote.
I'm sure this item would have to go out to bid. to get
Sure.
that amount.
I would think with that much money, we'd definitely want to.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Let's go back. I can't hear Chris. How much do we need to cut total?
I would, within the levy funds, if you, like I said, within the levy funds, we're only over 57,195. Now, like I said, Baker Tilly, we're sufficing those other funds. She recommended we just look at the general fund as far as where it's at and minimize that funding to where if you have to do an additional after the fact. So I would say you need to reduce the general by 227,868.
Say 230,000.
Yeah.
But the 57,000, they said you can't just let it ride right now?
Mhm.
Okay, so basically we need to cut 230,000, correct?
Correct.
And then that's,
But like they keep saying, we have the revenue to support it.
Mhm.
We're just not able to increase our budget that much from one year to the next. Doesn't mean we don't have the funds to do it, but we have to wait till after we submit our AFR. All of the numbers are final. Just to remind everybody, or just to let everyone know, I was here last year and I remember we got numbers in August. We got numbers in October. We got numbers in December. And then we got numbers again on January 17th. And every one of those numbers went up different. I mean, it was an increase in our funding. It wasn't a decrease in our funding. So we won't even know our exact funding. We're supposed to know in December, but they might do what they did last year and have a reconfigure and get you different numbers January 17th, and you got to redo everything all over again
okay, so basically we need to cut about 230,000.
from the general.
If we take pauper attorney, take 150,000 out of that, cut that back.
So we're at 300 there, so that's cutting off 150.
And then care for the patients, take like 100,000 off of that. If they're 312,000, cut down 212,000. That's gonna be 250,000. We need to cut 230. That make the numbers work?
Yeah, I mean, that would drive those numbers. And are you still gonna do the 5,000 for the animal welfare? Because that's a different too.
We need to take it, we need to cut that out.
So those are just.
I mean, it's just only fair that if they, you can start something, it'll be hard to
When
stop.
it affects me, you know, I feel like I have to use my voice. It affects me. I did the things the way for a reason. I actually contacted the state comptroller and I was like, how does this work? They're like, as long as you have publicly advertised it and on your website and, we weren't even required to do the newspaper, but I did the newspaper 3 times just to cover that, just because I didn't have all the contact information. I'm brand new, so I didn't have email addresses and I didn't know who was over this organization. And, you know, I could have, you know, done some research, but who knows? So that's the route that I went and I knew it was right. And so I just personally, when it's a reflection on me, if you're going to do the animal welfare, I would like you to add Ride Solution where you're at least across the board to whoever you gave last year, you're giving to this year, or don't do them both. That's just my
personal thing is
request.
to cut that out for now. They can come back later, and same way with Ride Solution, they can come back. So that, if you need a motion, Dave, I make a motion to cut the 5,000 out for
I'll second that.
animal control.
Motion by Paul to reduce to 5,000. Second by Keith. Yep, any other discussion? If not, a call for a vote. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay?
Nay.
Nay. So how many was it? What'd you do?
Nay.
You got
Nay.
4 nays, 3 ayes.
Okay.
That didn't pass.
Okay, moving on, we got, if you enter, as far as pauper attorney and also for the care, I'm gonna make a motion that we cut pauper attorney back to 150,000. And you take a second motion for the care for the patients to knock off 100,000 off of that. That'll give us 250,000. We need 230. That should do it.
Are you doing that in one motion? I guess.
What'd be better, Chris? 1 or 2 motions?
I do it separate. It's
I
up to
make
you.
that made all the same motion. But
One's, I mean,
Probably should do them separate.
I would do them separate.
they can always come back. What they do in the past, they come back if they need more. They come back for it.
Okay, we're going to do them separate.
Okay. Pauper attorney, cut 150,000 out.
second.
Motion by Paul, second by Keith to cut pauper attorney by 150,000. Any other discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nay, opposed, nay,
Nay.
nay. You have a
No.
vote?
Aye.
So you have 4 ayes, 4 ayes and 3 nays.
Okay. Make another motion that we cut 100,000 out of the care for patients institutions.
I'll second that.
Motion by Paul, second by Keith to cut, what'd you say, 100,000
100,000.
from care to patients?
They'll still leave 212,000 in there.
All those in favor, any discussion?
What was the motion again?
To remove, I think, what did you say, 100,000
100,000
from
even.
care to patient care, the juveniles?
This is for juvenile.
Yeah. Paul made the motion, second by Keith. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
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 4 ayes, 3 nays. So is that where you want to be?
Chris, that should put
As
us.
far as your levy, that's where you guys,
That's
you're under the max levy with those changes. With your numbers off of um, from 9/21, from last Thursday.
Were we looking at the health department?
Did you also anybody want to look at the hospital and the issue with the ambulances that they have and the issue with all of the equipment that's outdated that hasn't been on any type of rotation or schedule that's much needed?
I think we need to look at both of them, I guess.
I don't have that information with me, but I met with them today and it's pretty critical. They have some cardiac monitors and some things that are very outdated, that are at the end of the life expectancy. I don't have all the figures, like I said, because I didn't prepare for this. So,
Do you know what kind of money they're talking about, Kelly?
I don't have that with me because
Okay.
I didn't prepare for this to happen tonight.
They originally had asked for 200,000 for monitors.
Not just for monitors.
No, there were
Mine was
several things.
120.
There was a video, range there was,
I might
trying
have
to
that.
think what else there
I've
was.
got it, you're not. You have it? Okay. Might have mixed up.
And then if you want to revisit the lease program that we need to look into that hasn't been figured out for a new ambulance, because some of our ambulances have issues, serious issues. So, 400, they asked for 400,000 and we offered the 215 and the 60. But whenever I went out to talk to them, they sent an email to everybody and asked us to come talk to them. They have some problems.
Commissioners.
That's what we have to look into. That's why I was going to do that before the next meeting.
It's page 19.
It's very important. It's for the protection of all the citizens. I don't have any of that with me. This wasn't running on this one.
Okay, you want to go to page 25 on health?
Okay.
So with the changes that you guys just made, you are under the levy 22,132.
22,136.
132.
I'm sorry.
That's regarding the levy. So.
So in the health, I think we had them at what, 5 or 5, I guess. So we did them like maybe 5 and 10. We treat them like everybody else.
Yep, let me increase that. I don't have my calculator and I don't have my laptop to figure that. Let me go get my laptop real quick because I got a program. I created a spreadsheet so I don't have to bang.
May I just say something real quick?
Yes.
Regarding that budget session Thursday, the numbers that you guys had on your sheets were not correct. And had I been prepared or asked prior to, I could have given you the correct numbers, which is why I tried to correct it in the email. So please know that we have a base county salary. Again, I'm not talking about our sanitarian. It's kind of separate. But we have a base county salary and then an immunization grant that we work directly with state on, which is kind of two totally different things. The other numbers on there, it was not fair to have those on there. They were not correct. And we were not asked prior to that if those numbers were
Do you mean the
accurate.
grant numbers?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. Just
What
please
was
consider
wrong
that.
with them?
Number one, the BP funding was the wrong number. And it ends mid-year next year, which I was very clear about that in the email. And then we took HFI off of there because it should have been on there, in my opinion, to begin with, because you guys hadn't even voted on it yet.
Right.
So I feel like we were looked at kind of unfairly. So thank you for reconsidering.
There's only three that you need to look at. Isn't
Yeah, I just don't have a calculator on my phone.
You know, you got those in the spreadsheet.
I know it. I just type the numbers in and I can tell
You
you.
can test it.
Mhm. That's what we use to
Make sure your formula's right.
check these numbers, yep.
Is this gonna take you a few minutes, like I can go the rest?
Yes, absolutely. Checking. Just, I still do have to use my phone, but at least they'll figure social security out for me. So we're gonna take,
What we had here, but these figures
Yeah,
don't
they-
match. I don't know what we did.
yeah, I made a list here. I think I sent you guys that. These were all the things that we had to. The retirement for clerk was off. Yeah. So that's the list of things. Okay, so we've got 8754 times 10%. Well, actually, it would just take this, because they were at the, that's it, wait, 5%, never mind. 10% equals.
I think they were just at 5.
Yeah, I gotta, you had the numbers from last week. 8754 times 10% equals 875. Not nickel. Not nickels. Times 10% equals. Okay. I'm almost done. I'm good on the phone. Times 10%. It's an add for you. It's okay, I've only got one left, thank you. My spreadsheet tells me like my social security and retirement, but I forgot I still gotta do the 10%, thank you. And I want to do it twice, so I know I get the same number. Two, one, one. 237, 284. So that, with that change on the health department, if you increase them to 10% from the, that is going to increase their budget by 4,800. Make sure that's right. Well, there's, that's off of there. That's gonna put them at 442,111. One of those, oh, hold on, this is not that up. Oh, I got one more, I gotta do the sanitarian, that's why that's not there. That's why that wasn't it, sorry, sanitarian. much better. Okay, so your new number for the health department with the 10% raise is $251,738. So that's an additional $14,454.
You figure all your retirement in there?
Yep, spreadsheet does
Social
that.
Security?
Yep,
That still leaves about $6,000 under the max levy. Correct?
so you're at 22,132 minus 14,454
Still about
equals
8,000.
7,678. Yeah. And then, so as far as, I mean, that'll change your numbers as far as with your revenue and stuff like that, but based off your budget, or not the revenue, but your expenditure numbers. But we're well within that.
I would entertain a motion to approve the health budget, bring
Make
those
that motion.
to 10%. Motion by Keith,
Second.
second by Earl. All those in favor, or any other discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed,
Nay.
Nay.
5-2.
Okay, hey, David, going back to Steve was up here, some changes for some of the funding, ways you're going through that. Do we need to make a motion on that? I don't.
Oh, we wouldn't have to if we.
Yeah, if you're gonna
Well, we
change
do
that
that,
to
yeah.
that page in his thing, we need to change, if you guys change that.
I'm basically just rearranging some, how we're paying for some things. There's no, yeah, didn't increase or anything.
It didn't increase it, but
Yeah.
it changed the way.
But if actually change it, we probably need a motion to.
Right.
Okay, I'll make a motion if we allow the changes.
I'll second that.
Motion by Paul, second by
What was
Keith.
that motion?
EMAs.
It was on the EMA.
They're gonna pay, they'll rearrange how they pay
He
for
was
it.
rearranging how he paid that. It was to cover the shortage for the PSAP,
They can cover it
53,000
internally.
or whatever it was. He's just moving it around within that, the different lines. It'd still be 283,000. It doesn't affect the levy funds. Any other discussion? If not, entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Paul. Or
I'll
vote, I
make a
guess.
motion.
Already had a motion.
I want to entertain a vote, I guess.
Okay,
All
yeah.
those in favor?
Who was the second?
Keith, I think. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay. I just got this information when he went to the
Yeah.
podium, so
So it's 6-1.
I can't review it. Fine.
Okay, I just wanted to look at the EMS services, the equipment and that's all out, public safety. So that'd be county general too, though, wasn't it?
714 commissioners,
Commissioners,
and then it's also in
public safety.
public safety, which is page 37, which I don't know, I think it's estimated in there.
Do you have that list of things that they requested?
As far as equipment, I think they definitely need the monitors,
They probably,
cardiac monitors.
They said they were at the end of their life expectancy at 6 years.
I think the monitors were their number one choice. Then they went,
The video
what was it?
laryngoscope.
CMAC is what it's called.
That was their number two, wasn't it?
They explained the importance of those and how the video helps them have a
I mean,
better rate of,
You can see.
right, and the
Yeah,
first
they-
time, with going in the throat. That's why I think it's important that everybody goes out there and talks to them and sees it.
That's not much that we can. We got less than 8,000. Won't buy much.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah.
You do have tribal funds that you could use to,
Stimson.
tribal funds are supposed to be used for
That was Brandon Berger and
community.
Annabelle Hoffman and Jared Stimson.
And there's some opiate money that's not been,
opioid money has not been touched. I think there's some,
There's only certain things you can use it
Use
for.
opiate for-
15% of it is unrestricted, 85%
Yeah.
is restricted.
but the tribal is for,
The tribal can be used for anything.
tribal can be used for anything. And you've got 98,000 from last year that hasn't been touched, and we're supposed to get the exact same this year. So just mentioning that.
I guess we can increase the. What we got here? Ambulance service. You can increase the ambulance service by 7,000 if you want to use that. Of course, they asked for a lot, 400.
They wanted 400,000, yes.
We've given them
They requested that.
275, I think.
And then they requested 460,000
capital
for the equipment that they need, including a new ambulance.
I think we still even have to cut the public safety some.
Yes, we haven't even talked about public safety yet. Public safety, it's on your notes too.
I think that had to be cut.
Yep, I just remembered that, thank you. I was so focused on the levy. I don't know where my papers are. Here we are. Well, actually, that's kind of what when I was looking at stuff today. So, you look at the bottom on the max levy, you're over $7,024 in the public safety. So pretty much when I was just looking at things this afternoon, I was just looking at the fact of based off those numbers, you were going to be over the max. What was I saying? Yes, you have to cut 7,000 from public safety, which right now,
We're over 7,000 in.
yeah, that's what I'm saying,
Levy.
that you can move some expenses from public safety to the general, because that would pretty much be right about it.
then we're not addressing their request, basically.
With EMS.
Like with EMS, but like, I mean, I'm just making a
Yeah.
suggestion. You guys have funds that are sitting there, that are just sitting there, and they're supposed to be used for county use. That's a perfect idea for tribal. Just- Okay. So how much is there? I can look right now. Now that I got my laptop here.
So we can, let's see,
There it is. Give me 1 second to pull up my financial.
So out of the 400,000 that they requested for the subsidy, we're at 275.
75.
And out of the 460,000 they request for equipment, we're at 60 or plus the 35.
35. We're at 35.
Oh, you took the 50 out for the lease also?
No, we had 50
Oh.
lease in there.
Oh.
The ambulance lease, you were doing, no, you were
That's
doing,
not in there.
you were doing 50.
The
We had-
10.
Yeah, just the 10. We were gonna do the 50 from this year and 10 from 24. Because we had 50,000 budgeted in 2023, but it hasn't been expended. You balance
So
that
it has
fund.
not been.
Yeah, if you look in the 2023 budget, we
Yeah.
budgeted 50,000 for ambulance
Okay.
lease, and it has not been.
Okay.
So,
And there needs to be, I believe, future planning for the capital expense things that they need for EMS, because there has been in the past, they said that there's been no, I guess, money set aside for those type things, so that they don't have to request $460,000 all at once. There needs to be a dedicated account and a certain amount of money budgeted every year and put into that account, so that when these things come up, we're ready for them and it's not a big, huge ask all at once. Just set aside. We have to be intentional with our dollars, I mean, or the taxes we're gonna have to raise. That's all there is to it.
it's under something else. I'm trying to remember. It's not listed in here. It's tribal.
So we're over 7,000 something in public safety.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Is
guess we
there
can,
anything in public safety that can be moved?
I guess you reduce the ambulance lease. 10,000.
Can you move
And
it
put it
to,
over the other.
over to,
Put it under the, so we got the 215.
Yeah.
Do what, Dave?
Let's start working
You
on
can
the
take
lease,
it, remove the
all the things before the meeting.
part of that 10,000 ambulance lease that's in public safety, and you
So we shouldn't rush.
can reduce it here, then increase it in county general
Just moving,
commissioners.
just moving money over.
That way, then this is, it'll get you where you want to be.
Chris, that might be the simplest thing to do.
I'm looking for the tribal balance. It's named something else, and I'm trying to remember what it's called.
There should be about 180,000 in there.
Yeah, it was 90,
It's
90,
90 some each
90
year.
some and
done it
90,
twice.
yeah.
So we're looking at other accounts on how to fund.
How much is it for
ambulance?
250?
What?
The ambulance cost, how much was it?
225.
Yesterday?
That's for a demo.
So I don't want to do this right now.
else that would be under?
I don't know why I can't. find it. I know it's in here. I pulled it up on it, but I know it's under something different. It's not listed as tribal. It's.
You're right, it's not tribal, it's a.
I know, and I cannot remember what it is, and it probably would take me like 2 minutes to go pull a file.
Do you remember Kelly?
What is it?
Tribal. There's another.
It's,
I don't have my budget book or I had some
it's not in the
paperwork
budget
there for it.
book.
I have it separate on
Oh,
paper.
okay.
I had all my stuff together.
Here it is, found it. So it's 8951. 8951. $187,535.88 is what's in the tribal.
You said before.
187, 535, 88.
Yep.
Chris, do you know if that will be ongoing, that tribal?
We find out annually. We got it last year, and then we received it this year. We'll know.
Was it not a part of the CARES Act and the ARP
it
money that
was.
was left over? So I don't
I
think
think it
it's gonna extend past what it,
I don't know.
Now, the opioid
Initial
goes
two
on
departments.
forever, but
it was like the federal government had additional money left over, so they
So it's
just,
just one time.
you could apply for it, yes.
I think it was done in 2 payments.
And there's certain things that it was supposed to be used for.
Okay, we're only over, what'd you say, 7,000 something in the public safety? Or was it 8,000?
We were over $7,024. So 7,000, yes.
So the only thing I can see you could do, if you want to reduce the 10,000 to 3,000,
For the ambulance lease.
and then increase it in public safety.
Are you asking for a motion?
You mean increase it in general?
I mean, in general,
Yeah, I said that in general.
that'd be the same thing.
Yes, I know what you mean.
That's the most logical thing to do, isn't it? Yeah, it's,
Has anyone called about the ambulance lease to see what the program looks like or how much it's gonna cost, how many years, what the availability is, any of those things?
I don't think so. The only thing I know is in the past, we've always budgeted like 50,000 over like a 4-year period.
I know when we talked to them today, they said
Right.
that all that's changed and you might wanna
Right.
give them a call, so.
And I'm assuming that lease was between the county and whoever.
I assume the
But it's
lease from the
been-
county commissioners. And
When was the last time we leased an ambulance?
I think we got off, we were doing that, they had it on a schedule where we do like every 4 years, but then I think with COVID, we got off it.
It was in their
The ambulance
request.
with COVID,
Yeah, it was in their request last year on their budget because they wanted to purchase
and
one.
we didn't because of, we'd already done one with COVID, I think. or something.
Well, they bought one with CARES Act money.
Right.
That's COVID, that's what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
And that one has issues. So,
Yeah.
It's got
That's a
some
newer
big
one,
problems.
has a bunch of wiring issues.
I don't know, was that thing 2 years old when they bought it?
2018. They bought an 18 model in 2020,
Yeah, it's 2018.
and it's got significant wiring issues that they're gonna have to look at. So several of them have issues.
That was a demonstrator.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you ready for it?
Yeah.
If you don't mind, repeat for everybody what we talked about taking the 10,000 back down to 3.
So we don't
Right.
have the leases.
And
We
then
take-
take,
Could be more than that.
Well, first of all, we'll vote on the local income tax, public safety commissioners. We'll be reducing the ambulance lease from 10,000 to 3. If you want to make a motion to that,
I'll make a motion, we do that.
do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Can you repeat the motion?
The motion was to reduce the ambulance lease in local impact public safety to 3,000,
We're gonna take it
from
out.
10 to 3.
We're gonna take the 7,000 out of the general.
And that's just
They're
that's
gonna
just
end
to
up
get
the
your
same
public
amount of
safety where it's balanced. Not necessarily it's the right thing, but
And you
that's,
don't know if that's how much they need, but
no, not at all. So, all's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
nay.
No,
Okay, did you vote aye? 4 to 3. I just think we need to do more for the ambulance services, and
Absolutely.
that's part of public safety. And now I guess you need to go back to county general. Commissioners, page 26. Oh no, take it back, 15,
26,
14, 15.
All these things that we don't know how much.
And then we would be increasing ambulance services.
No, we need to add
Add.
ambulance lease. You'd add 44600 ambulance lease to general.
More information from the following.
Oh, 14.
Anyway,
No, we were increasing ambulance
Yeah.
services.
Well, are you putting in, you guys do whatever you want, but you took it out of ambulance lease. So you would add ambulance lease to, you didn't take it out of ambulance services, you took it out of ambulance lease.
Oh, I figured you could do it either way.
It just matter if you guys want it labeled, you can do whatever you want. If you want it labeled as ambulance lease, or if you want to add it into ambulance services.
To me, it's the same thing.
Should just be paid out monthly on their P&L, or is it to go, because that's what the ambulance service does. We pay it out.
We can create another
Mhm.
line item.
I'm just saying, you had it as 44600 ambulance lease, just
Keep it there.
keep it there.
We would add it to another line in commissioners of ambulance lease or 7,000. Didn't change anything else here, did we?
No.
Would entertain a motion to do that.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Keith, second by
Second.
Hall. Any discussion? All's in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
nay.
no,
4 to 3. So where's that put us at?
Well, dang it, I didn't have to clear that out, I still have it in there. You are under the max levy, $678, so you are right where you need to be on the max levy.
So we're good with everything.
off of, as far as with the max levy, you were good with everything. So let's kind of just do a little bit of soft math with, just to kind of put you in a little bit of a perception. So let's kind of even figure if we would have to spend what we budgeted for PSAP. Okay, so we've taken care of the max levy, we decreased our budget. So let's just kind of talk about expenditures that we think we would have. So even if we still had to expend, you know, we cut 150, we had 300,000 budgeted for pauper.
Attorney.
If we still had to spend the 312,000 that we had budgeted for CARES, even though you decreased your budget. So as far as that, you guys have taken, so we were at 8,519 left with revenue to expenditure, okay? Then we increased the wages for the health. So that is going to basically, yeah, that would kind of like if you're starting with a positive, you're going to subtract off your spending more, 14,554. You just added 7,000 to the budget for the ambulance on general. So that's pretty much all the changes to general. Am I correct? Just did that. Let me glance through, make sure I'm good. Because that was state 911. Make sure. Okay, so 8,519 minus 14,454 equals minus 7,000. So with those changes, not with your budget, but as far as with your revenue to your expenditures, including basically what we were estimating with the pauper, with the extra 150. Do you want me to give you the numbers with, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because what we had, worst case scenarios, if we would have to spend 300,000 on pauper attorney, and we would have to spend 312,000 on CARES, we would still only be over budget 12,935. So, do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, that's
But
that's if we spend the original appropriation.
the original appropriation. So, you know, you basically just decreased your budget because of not being able to increase it, being limited on the amount you can increase it. But there's no guarantee that you will have to.
Nobody knows.
No.
There's no way you can budget for it accurately.
No. But if you would have to spend that, I'm saying with adding those numbers back in, you would still only be over budget 12,935, so $13,000. So.
Okay, so for all practical purposes, county general's okay.
Yep. Reassessment's fine. Health's fine. Cambridge is fine. Lit's fine now. We went through all the other, we had already went through all the other ones and none of the revenue, none of the expenditures outweighed the expended or the estimated revenue. Those were the only ones we were looking at, so.
Anything else we need to do?
My concern was the max levy, so that's where I'm at.
We need to officially adopt.
If you want to do that till the 12th.
Okay.
You won't do that till the 12th. Is the adoption.
So the next thing to do is to take a vote to adopt the budget. Make a motion to adopt the budget for 2024.
I'll second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye, opposed, nay.
No.
Nay.
Motion carries 4-3.
Thank you for the ones that noted this.
Now, do we have to have a second a reading?
That will be October 12th. So
Okay.
as the budget calendar projects, October 12th will be the final. And then I will have to have this submitted after that meeting, whatever you guys. So the budget is not final until October 12th. And then I have to have it submitted by the end of the month to Gateway.
And it tends to be amended.
It
By the
still
end of
can be,
December,
and
right?
once we get,
Ms. Archeolo, is there anything else from a legal standpoint that we see we?
No, as David was saying, you can always, it can still be amended.
We don't know where our health insurance is.
we did increase that. I mean, I don't know if anybody knows the budget, watch the budget session, but we typically would budget 800,000 for medical. And we increased that, or the commissioner's budget, that was increased to 1 million. Based on these numbers right here, this is all revenue to expenditure. And like I said, worst case scenario with those, but based off of that budget, you're still under with that. That's not touching any of our cash value or cash balance. And we're projected to end the year with, let me give you those. 1,486,100.
How much of an increase is that over last year?
Last year, we ended at 890.
So we got almost $600,000 more to the good, okay? Do you do anything else? The budget's adopted, that final reading on October 13th, 14th?
October 12th.
12.
Okay.
So when is the next meeting?
You wanted to change it, didn't you?
Oh, yes. So are we doing,
You got the meeting Tuesday for the record stuff that we tabled.
Or what?
are we having a meeting October 3rd or are we not? I mean, I just need you to tell me what I need to.
Why? We're gonna work on the budget, so I think we're.
Is everything from this budget or this agenda, are you wanting it on the October? Or are you going to the October? I would like, okay, let's go this route. The October meeting is scheduled for October 26th. I will be out of town. My first deputy will be out of town. I would like her to attend the auditors conference with me. So I would like to.
Are you going on Wednesday?
I'm gone Tuesday through Thursday.
Oh.
So I would like to see if we can have it the week before. We
I think
typically
that's
have it
the way
on
we did
13th
Last year.
on October. I mean, yeah, you guys did it last year, same time.
Why can't we have it on the 23rd on Monday?
No, we'll do it the week before. On
The week
Thursday.
before Thursday. I leave Monday night because it starts at 8 o'clock up in Indy
I won't be at that meeting.
on the 19th.
It's all right, as long as we have a quorum.
So the regular October meeting, whatever you guys decide.
I say we do it the
It's
third
just the
Thursday.
Thursday before the 19th.
The third Thursday instead of the fourth.
Good for him.
So Earl can make it, I can make it, Stan,
I don't know yet.
Kelly, yeah.
What's the date?
It's the third Thursday of October,
October
I
19th.
don't know.
19th of October.
I'll have to check my calendar, but I'll try.
I say we probably can have a quorum for that.
I'll let you know for sure.
So everything from this agenda, just move it to the 19th, or are we having a meeting before that? What's your business first?
Anything on there that can't wait?
I said there's nothing pressing, no reason to.
No.
If something comes up, we can still call one within 48 hours.
Nope. Nope.
When does early voting start? Will that be here or will it be at the end?
So we may have to, oh yeah, no, it will be voting.
When I talked to the president of the commissioners, because I had brought it to his attention last week, the dates. I actually think I have them in here, the dates of those. And he said that it probably wouldn't take up the whole place that we needed to have it in here because of the live stream. I did mention that we could do it out at the annex because that's the other live stream. So if you guys want to go ahead and have it out at the annex, we wouldn't have to be messing with.
Maybe I'll go ahead and do that.
So October
That's
19th
available.
at 5 PM at the annex.
Let's make sure it's available though.
Steve, will you check on that tomorrow? I'm sure it probably is.
I guess that's it. So there's something else. I guess I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Paul, second by Earl. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.